When you think of a UFC heavyweight champion, what comes to mind? Probably just raw power, right? But for the legendary fighter Bas Rutten, the toughest opponent he ever faced wasn't in the ring at all. Turns out, it was in his own head. Today, we're going to break down his pretty surprising code for life, one that was born from a battle with himself. And bam! Right out of the gate, this quote just completely shatters that tough guy image, doesn't it? It's not about being the strongest guy in the room, it's about being in control of yourself. This one idea, mastery over your own weaknesses, is really the foundation for everything we're about to get into. So you've got to ask, right? How does a guy known for, let's be honest, extreme physical brutality end up focusing so much on an internal war? Well, his story, ironically, doesn't start with strength. It starts with a deep, profound sense of weakness. Okay, so check out this timeline. It really lays out the whole journey. It all starts when he's just 12, a kid getting bullied for having a bad skin disease and asthma. Then he sees a Bruce Lee movie, and everything changes. By 14, he knocks out his biggest bully, which, of course, gets him kicked out of martial arts by his parents, but that fire was already lit. He eventually channels all of that into this legendary career, becoming the undisputed UFC heavyweight champ. I mean, on the outside, he had achieved total, absolute physical dominance. But then, it all stopped. Injuries forced him to retire, and just like that, the structure, the purpose, the adrenaline, it was all gone. That incredible rush from fighting in front of thousands of people disappeared, and this really dangerous void opened up. The fight wasn't in the ring anymore. It was now entirely in his own mind. And you know what rushed in to fill that void? This. He actually describes himself as becoming a slave to his vices. I mean, think about that for a second. The irony is just staggering. A man with absolute control over his body in a fight now had zero control over his own impulses. It was just this downward spiral of alcohol, drugs, and this crushing feeling that he was failing as a father and a husband. And this is where the story takes a really bizarre turn. His internal battle, well, it started to show up on the outside in a way nobody could have predicted. His fight for control was about to get a whole lot weirder. So they move into this new house, and right away, something is off. You know that feeling. They felt a presence, something that just wasn't supposed to be there. And look at this list. I mean, this is the stuff of horror movies. But what's absolutely key here is his total and complete powerlessness. This is a UFC champion, one of the toughest men on the planet, waking up completely pinned to his bed, unable to breathe. He's seeing ghosts, watching curtains fly up to the ceiling. Even his daughter was seeing spirits. For a guy whose entire life was about finding physical solutions to problems, this was a problem he just couldn't punch. So this crisis, this complete loss of control against something he literally couldn't fight, it pushed him right to the edge. And this is the part I find so fascinating. The answer didn't come from a coach or a gym. It came from this strange, forgotten memory from when he was just a little kid. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does it actually take to break a destructive habit like that? For a lot of people, it's hitting rock bottom. But for Rutten, the turning point was something much quieter, almost philosophical. It was an idea that had been planted in his mind decades earlier. He remembers this one crystal-clear memory from his youth. 10 years old, staring out a classroom window at a tree, and he gets completely lost in this huge question. If you trace a tree all the way back, where does it begin? It was just this little question that, for whatever reason, stuck with him his entire life. Fast forward years later, he's listening to this theologian, Leo Severino, and he hears this one line, and it's like a lightning bolt. It's the exact same logic from his childhood. Severino traces the leaf back to the branch, to the trunk, to the seed, to the tree that came before it, and so on, arguing that it has to lead back to some ultimate designer. And for Rutten, that was it. Boom. That's the word he uses. It was like that little seed of a question God had planted in his head when he was 10. It finally bloomed. This simple analogy just connected all the dots for him, reignited his Catholic faith, and gave him a brand new framework for his life. Okay, so a spiritual epiphany is one thing, but how do you actually turn that into something you can use day in and day out? With this new purpose, Rutten didn't just change what he believed, he built an entire actionable code to live by. This is what he came up with. He calls it his BAM code. And yeah, it stands for B.A. man, but his definition is probably not what you're thinking. It's got nothing to do with being tough. It's all about being in control of his own internal world. And at the heart of this whole code is how he completely flips the idea of suffering on its head. For him, suffering isn't something that just happens to you. It's an act of choice. It's the discipline of saying no to the easy, instant pleasure, all in favor of a higher purpose. It's a very old idea, really, choosing what's right over what feels easy. This right here, this is the daily tug of war. Think of it like this. Virtue is the workout. It hurts now, but you feel great later. Vice is the junk food. Tastes great now, but you're going to pay for it. For him, every single decision is a choice between those two. Do you want to build yourself up or tear yourself down? But look, philosophy is great and all, but it's pretty useless if you don't put it into practice. So this is the really crucial part, how he actually does this every single day. He developed a set of simple but really powerful techniques. He's got it boiled down to 3 simple daily habits: a nightly review, a little physical trick to break bad patterns, and a simple filter for making decisions. All right, technique number 1, the examination of conscience. Every night, before he goes to sleep, he replays the tape of his day. He asks himself what he did wrong, what he should have done instead, and how he can fix it tomorrow. It's a commitment to constant small improvements, like a personal debrief at the end of every day. Then you've got his famous rubber band technique. This is so simple, but so smart. He wears a rubber band, and whenever he feels a negative impulse, like he's about to swear or get angry, snap. He snaps it hard against his wrist. It's a classic behavioral trick, a physical pattern interrupt that short-circuits the bad habit. And last up, his 3-question test. This is his filter for, well, pretty much everything. Before he makes a decision, he runs it through this checklist. Is this going to make me smarter? Is it going to make me mentally stronger? And will it bring me closer to God? If it's a no on all 3, he just doesn't do it. It's a really simple way to make sure his actions are always aligned with his goals. And that right there, it brings us right back to the beginning. For Bas Rutten, the whole concept of being a real man got completely redefined. It's not about what you can do to someone else, it's about what you can do to yourself. The real champion is the person who can win that internal fight, conquer their own worst impulses, and actively choose to build themselves up. So, after hearing all that, the story kind of leaves you with this one big question to chew on. In a world that's all about what you can achieve on the outside, Bas Rutten's journey makes you look in the mirror and ask, what does true strength really mean to you?